Okay, listen, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent looks like a blast, and it looks like you had fun making it. I want to hear about you and Pedro's time on set together and establishing the dynamic between these two characters.
Pedro, see, I had never met him before, but the funny thing is, when I read the script and I imagined the Javi character, his face kept coming to me. He looked like Javi to me in some way, and when I met him, I thought, there he is. That's the perfect Javi. And the other thing is, he's a genuine film enthusiast. I'm a genuine film enthusiast. And we had so much to talk about. When the cameras weren't rolling, we'd sit on the set together and talk about movies. And I would say, I got this great J-horror film called The Cure. You should watch that. And he would recommend some Spanish horror films to me. And so we had this good exchange, good flow. And he was also very mysterious because he has a terrific sense of humor, but it's a peculiar sense of humor. I don't even know when he's really being joking or when he's serious. And that's great for the performance because you want to be left a little off guard by the Javi character. It's unpredictable. Is he dangerous or is he a goofball? And so he kept that energy going. But he's a really nice man, so I enjoyed working with him.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Now I gotta hear when they come up with the ideas for scenes and they're writing this story, and it's a version of a character that's kind of an extension of your real life going down a very different path. Did you feel anybody kind of being a little hesitant or maybe like, oh, I don't know if he's gonna like this idea because this is Nick Cage, even though it's not Nicolas Cage?
I don't think they were that hesitant.
They just let you have it.
They just let me have it. They just threw it in my face, and I can't. I had to say to them, guys, this is a bridge too far. This isn't me. I wouldn't do that. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing it. Like they wanted him to at one point go and say to the CIA agent, I am a good actor and I'll prove it to you. And I'm like, come on. He's gonna say that to some government jerk. I mean, he doesn't care about, it's not happening.
Fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. Now, if you had $1 million to invite somebody to your birthday party, who are you inviting to the party?
Well, sadly, all the people I would invite are no longer with us. Probably Gene Wilder, Marlon Brando,
That would be amazing. What is the weirdest part of fame when you're so well known for so long? What is the kind of weirdest part of that experience?
The weirdest part of it, I would say, is the part is that you never really think you're famous, right? I don't wake up in the morning and go, wow, I'm a movie star. That just doesn't happen. And so there have been times where I don't understand why somebody's reacting to me the way they are, and I don't know, have I done something wrong? And then I remember, oh, they may have seen me in a movie, and then I understand. So it's not something you ever really get used to. But having said that, most of my experiences, most of them, like 90% of them, have been positive, have been enthusiastic, and most people genuinely enjoy movies and the characters, and we've had some pleasant conversations.
What's the movie you get the most? People tell you that they like that one the most, and they love your performance in that film. What's the most common one you hear from fans?
Probably Face Off.
Yeah, of course.
And I love that movie too.
And as I let you go, I know you've been asked about Ghost Rider already. I read that online yesterday, but I do want to hear, as a huge Marvel fan myself, you were a Marvel hero before like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Kevin Feige and all them were working on it. Have you ever talked to Kevin and those guys and shared your thoughts, or they've shared their thoughts on having you, or just like gone back and forth at all?
Not yet, no, that hasn't happened. But what's interesting is nobody asked me about going back to Ghost Rider. That was a question that came up, and they weren't asking about Ghost Rider. They're asking what do you think of the Marvel movies, and I gave my opinion about it.
Then I have to ask you, what do you think about going back to Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider is an amazing character. I mean, he's a complicated character. It's kind of like, how do you tell the story of Faust within the context of that universe? Because it's a very philosophical character. I think it makes him special from other superheroes.
I love it, man. Well, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Enjoy the night, too. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fun yet?
I'm having fun.
Yeah. So listen,
it's been a while.
We've only done this over Zoom.
Exactly.
Nice to see you in person.
Nice to see you in person as well.
So in this movie, Nicolas Cage is playing Nick Cage, a little similar to himself. Pedro is playing Javi. Tell me how similar that character is to yourself, if at all.
I feel like there's a possibility that Javi is closer to me than Nicolas Cage in this movie is to Nicolas Cage. Ironically. I think I got the part because I'm a real fan. And there was no way for them to not believe me because I knew more about Nicolas Cage movies than the makers of the movie did.
So if you had $1 million for a birthday party, who would you invite to be the special guest if they would accept?
It would be Nicolas Cage.
So you just lived your dream.
I just lived my dream.
I want to ask you this because
Isn't it yours? Isn't it?
It's all of us.
everybody's?
Yeah. No, I want to ask you this because there's a scene in the trailer where you go and you see the big Nick Cage. I'm pretty sure it's the face-off version of him.
Yeah.
What is kind of the weirdest part of fame like this, where people have action figures? I have a Mandalorian in my living room. What is the weirdest part of being in everybody's house like that?
I don't know yet. I'm not sure. It's such a I can never make the connection in terms of what my participation is in this kind of fandom, because that's my experience growing up. And my parents were from Chile, and we came to the States when I was a baby, and we grew up and we consumed entertainment and pop culture, and that was like my conditioning, and that's how I was raised, and so that's who I'll always be. And I think that probably has a lot to do with why I ended up in a movie like this. But I'm not. It's a little too surreal. Reality needs to present itself on more sort of like practical terms to me, because this is a little much. Especially if you're telling me that you have a. But I mean, I'm wearing a helmet.
I have. Well, the Hot Toys has both.
Yes, I want that Hot Toy.
Well, I'm happy for you. You're living the dream, dude. It seems you very much deserve it. My last thing before I let you go, I gotta hear from you, dude. The Last of Us. What's that set like? Is it just covered in clickers and spores? Like, what is that? How immersive is that for you?
It is covered in clickers and spores, and the elements of Alberta, and we're having an amazing time. It's totally harrowing, and I don't know if we'll make it, but it'll be completely worth it. It is amazing, and I'm having an amazing time. I don't know if I'll make it.
All right, well, do you know what happens to Joel?
Oh, I do know what happens to Mo Sheen. I may not even make it to that.
Oh, man, well, dude, it's a pleasure speaking with you. I can't wait to see the movie tonight. Enjoy. Jacob, by the way, I got to start this by telling you I love Bad Boys for Life.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Congratulations on a great film. Are you excited tonight to see the unbearable weight of massive talent with a big crowd? Have you seen the movie yet?
I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm seeing it the first time with the crowd, and I'm so happy to be seeing it in the live audience with a live crowd.
Now tell you play Carlos in the film. Tell me about Carlos, his relationship to Nick Cage.
Nick Cage and Carlos have a very complicated relationship. Carlos hates everything to do with Hollywood. He hates Nick Cage and everything he stands for. And he lets him know about it.
It could pose a problem.
It could pose a problem, and it probably will. You're going to have to wait and see.
If you had $1 million to invite anybody to your birthday party, the Jacob's birthday party, who are you inviting to the party?
Nick Cage, 1,000,000 times over. If I had $5 million, I'd pay for 5 Nick Cages.
What kind of thing? I know Nick had to this is a fake Nick Cage,
right,
but it is based on Nick Cage. It has a lot of references to previous films. What kind of fun things did you learn about him or movies he had done before while making this one?
He told a bunch of stories. A lot of them are not safe for work and not safe for repeating. But no, what I did learn about Nick is, in all seriousness, he's the most committed, most prepared actor I've ever worked with in my life. He's incredible, man. Really is.
And my last thing for you before I let you go, I got to ask you about joining the DC universe.
Yeah.
What has that experience been like? What can you tell us about being a part of Batgirl?
An honor to be a part of the DC universe, man. Obviously, I can't say a lot about the role, but I will say that my character he's in a situation with Batgirl. Let's leave it at that.
Can't wait to see it, brother. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, dude.
Enjoy the night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations on the movie that everybody seems to say is very good. I can't wait to see it myself.
Do you see it tonight?
Yes, I'm seeing it with the crowd. Have you seen it with the crowd yet? What are you expecting this to be like?
I think they're going to go insane. I think they're literally going to lose their minds. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to start screaming.
Yeah, the energy in there, it's good. It makes a difference.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's got the mascot heads of Nick out here. It's amazing. I've never seen that before.
I love it. Now, you're playing Addy in the film. Give me an introduction from your perspective on Addy and who she is.
I mean, she's a very typical 16-year-old girl, which I think is the issue with her and her dad, because he is not a typical dad, and he's very cool, and he has all these different interests, and she really just wants him to be a dad, you know, and like get on her level. And the journey that they go on is really unexpected and beautiful. So if I do say so myself.
I can't wait to see it. I'm curious, like, you play a character here with a parent who's in big movies that is not too unfamiliar from your own life. How different is that perceived in the film versus real life?
It's different. I mean, of course there are similarities, but like it was weirdly hard to get into that mindset because I was like, it's similar, but it's completely different. So it did actually weirdly feel, everyone keeps being like, oh, it must have been so easy for you. I'm like, it was actually more difficult than I think playing someone without famous parents would have been, you know, but it was cool. I wish I could say it was cathartic. Not really, but it was fantastic. It was a really great experience.
That's cool. And if you had $1 million to invite anybody to your birthday party, and they were going to say yes, who are you inviting?
Are they alive?
They could be anybody in the world who can accept $1 million. You can lay it down with them if you want to, I guess.
Okay. I'd want Sylvia Plath because she needs a friend, and I think I could be that friend.
We'll give her a call.
Please, yeah.
Thank you so much. Hi, Alessandra. I'm Brandon. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Have you seen the movie with a crowd yet?
No, I never seen the movie at all.
And this is your first time with a crowd? Perfect.
Very, very first time.
Okay, now having worked on the film, you do know a good bit about it. I want to hear how accurate of a glimpse into like movie star life does this give us?
A lot. It gives you the ups and downs, especially.
Okay.
So you never realize that there are so many, because you always see the good stuff, but you never see the back. You never see the downsides of a work like this one. So yeah, it gives you a lot of things.
Okay, all right, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to see it, so don't spoil it for me.
I'm not going to see anything. I swear. Nobody's going to die. By the way, just so you know.
Give me the introduction to Gabriella from your perspective.
My perspective, okay, so it's a girl that is so in love with Javi that it's the character that Pedro Pascal play. Oh my God, he's here. And yeah, so like she is very like protective for him, and she just like try to follow his dream about meeting Nicolas Cage, even if she's not a big fan of Nicolas Cage, but she's just pretending. And it's super cute because she really take his side when Cage doesn't act really well with him. But I'm not gonna spoil that.
Sure.
But at some point I'm gonna hold a gun next to him, and that was the weirdest scene I have done in my life.
Oh, that sounds fun. What is the weirdest thing you think about fame? Like if you go out and somebody knows who you are, like because this movie is gonna examine kind of post-movie star life. What is the weirdest part of that?
I think the weirdest part is that when you enter in the house of everybody, you know, like as a TV actress or as a movie actress, you're part of the family, you're part of that group, and they treat you like one of them. So when you're outside, you actually have your own mood, you have your own swims, you know, and they don't realize it. So you have to always have this big smile, even if inside you are dying, and that's probably the downside of it, because everything that happened to you is outside there. But anyway.
I can't wait to see it. Thank you so much for the time. Have fun tonight.
You too.
How exciting is it to watch this with a big crowd?
I am so excited. I've never seen it with a crowd. The most people we've ever seen it with is like a 25% audience. So I'm thrilled.
The energy in the theater just makes a difference, you know?
Yes. It's going to be like 1,200 people, and this is the best theater. We're so psyched. And Nick Cage is here in a plaid suit. I mean, guys.
Now, I have to ask, as a producer on the film about Nick Cage, starring Nicolas Cage, how much of a Nicolas Cage expert do you become through the years it takes to make this film? What was the best thing you learned about him?
The most fun, I mean, he'll probably kill me for saying this, but I'm going to say it. The most interesting fact I learned about Nick Cage was a specific story about him and his cat. And I'll just say that, and they're bonding.
I love it. Now, if you had $1 million to invite anybody to your birthday party, the way Nick Cage gets invited to a party in the unbearable weight
of course I would have to invite Nicolas Cage. Are you crazy?
I was going to ask who.
Yeah, it would be a Nicolas Cage. They would have to do it for $500,000 each, and Pedro. I love them both so much that I couldn't invite one without the other.
When you guys were working on this, and when you're on set, we're talking to writers, or you're talking to Nick on set, is there kind of like a way you kind of have to be delicate about saying like, well, we're making this kind of character who's silly and defeated, but it's also you? Like, how do you go about that?
You know what? He is such a trooper because, I mean, when you think about it, would you want to do a movie about yourself, even though it's not really you? And so, I mean, sometimes we would have to remind him, we'd be like, Nick, you know, because the guy lives in a hotel, he's got a daughter, he's broke. None of that is true about Nicolas Cage. He's also not a narcissist. And so, but we're like, no, this is the character Nicolas Cage. This is it. But he was such a trooper to go through it, and he did so many great / embarrassing things. And so, we didn't have to convince him of much.
I can't wait to see it. Thank you so much for the time, and have a fun night.